Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about Survivor 47, Episode 3.
3, you guys. We might have missed 2, but we're back for 3. Let's talk about it. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdtainment.
Woo!
Yes, we missed Episode 2, but we're here for Episode 3.
Yes. Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Unable to do Episode 2. Unable to talk with TK last week. But we're back to a normal schedule.
Yes.
This week, exit interview already went up.
Yeah.
Now we chat.
So, coming out of TK's elimination, which to be honest with you, I was a little shocked that he was the one to go home.
Out of the blue, right?
I would not have put money on him being the first eliminated from this tribe, in advance of last week's episode. I would say, based on what I saw, he did seem.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious that he went out.
Yeah, yeah.
The way that they edited it.
I know.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, but we're sort of coming out of that, right? So we're back at camp. Gabe is talking about I played that idol and it was for nothing, but at least I didn't go home with an idol in my pocket.
He credited last season. I mean, that was my biggest question. I was like, why?
No, literally. What? It was so anticlimactic when he played it because we knew that he was not the one. But Tiana was she was shocked when he played the idol, which was kind of weird to me that she was so shocked.
And he was the only one, because we've got 3 idols in play now. He was the only one who did the whole shenanigans to have it forever.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me just go ahead and play it.
Yeah.
But he says, look, I watched season 46. As we all did. Everyone, boom, but we get the montage.
It was crazy to see the montage.
Boom, boom,
There were at least 6 people.
Yeah, well, remember?
I do, but I was this refreshes my memory, and this hurts all over again to see Tiffany and Q, and I don't even remember her name, the first girl.
The other ones, all the other ones. Exactly.
And
he was like, not me.
Not gonna be me.
So he plays it so anticlimactically.
So.
I even tweeted out, I was like, so we're going to get a bunch of useless idol plays this season because of last season.
Yeah.
And Stephen Fishback actually replied to that tweet. I was like, oh, hello, sir.
Well,
and he was like,
kindred spirits.
Yes, balanced as it should be. And I was like, okay, if you say so.
Yes, yes. So Kyle, meanwhile, is sheepish, and he's like, well...
Whoopsie daisies.
I did vote for Sue.
That was my vote.
And, I think he's doing the thing where he's like, if you'd have told me, I probably would have gone along with it.
I'd have been okay with your plan if y'all had just looped me in. But here I am, completely blindsided, and I had wrote down someone else's name.
And Sue's like, I will have my revenge.
Your head will be on a platter.
She's pissed.
She is. She seems to take it personally.
Yeah.
And she'll handle that later is her vibe.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I'm loving that vibe.
Caroline and Sue celebrate their move.
Yeah.
They're very much they did that.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yep. So that's sort of the camp fallout. And then we go to Gata Yellow, right?
Yellow.
The next day.
Yep. They're not really sleeping. They'd like to fix the bamboo. Sam is annoyed.
Yep.
Why is he being told what to do? He'd rather go fishing.
Right. I mean, we see Andy. Andy seems to have settled in a little bit. And he's still a numbers guy, right? Where he's like...
I gotta be Andy.
His hair has not settled.
And then he's like, what's happening?
I can't. That's the best impression on the internet. Has to be. But he's like, I want data through actions.
Oh.
So I'm observing people, and basically he's observing Sam and Annika at the clothesline.
Yeah.
And they're just not getting along.
Bicker.
And it escalates to a point where Sam has the machete and he is hacking at the clothesline. And Annika is flinching and backing up, and she's like, maybe he saw it. Maybe just saw the thing, and he does that, and it slices right through. And it's yeah, you were letting out some tension with the hacking.
That was really funny when she started. You know what? Honestly, yeah, she's sort of ordering the ship, right?
Yeah.
She's directing things, but the way that she was we've been sawing and it's been successful. I was her tone is fine.
Yeah.
She wasn't stop,
Yeah.
saw it. Like I thought her tone was very diplomatic, but she is just sort of like, hey, let's do this, do this, do this. And like for some reason, Sam's the only one
like that,
is like being told what to do.
Yeah, he's kind of bearing the brunt of that. Yeah.
As like the only functioning man or something.
I
Is
guess.
that what the vibe is?
And Andy's just like, ooh, drama that doesn't involve me. I like
just
it.
Like, yeah. So tension there on yellow.
Yes.
And we move to red.
We move to red, and Rome is annoying the crap out of everybody.
This is just going to be a fantastic
He
edit.
is like, he's doing the fishing thing.
Yes, fishing star.
And he's acting like he's the only one who can fish.
Only one.
He's definitely got that
Absolutely.
personality where you're like, he's the best at everything. And so, like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, let me check.
He's been waiting
for
the opportunity.
how to do it. This is how you're going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
And while I do that,
Yeah.
why are you not getting the pot ready?
Yeah.
I'm out fishing for you, and now I got to clean the pot, too?
It's so funny because we start with like he's a bit much and everyone is just so annoyed.
Oh yeah.
But then he's gonna get annoyed that people aren't like, oh, Rome.
They're
thank
literally
you so much for fishing and getting these tiny little 4 fish.
like goldfish. Genevieve is like, it's like a minnow. Like I can barely see it. And everyone's in the ocean while he's like off fishing, and they're all just talking trash. They're like,
yeah.
Wow, Rome is
Like
a lot.
Rome, look at Rome.
He's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets these little fish, and he acts like it's a huge catch. He's like, you won't believe what I found.
He's
and
like, here we go.
Is that it? And then he's dancing in front of everybody when he catches the fish.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I'd be on everybody else's side. I'd be like, this man is driving me crazy. This is, again, like I've said to y'all before, I can't be on the show because I'm gonna get edited as the villain.
Yep.
And I definitely would be like, what is wrong with Rome?
Yeah. We could not put you on the same tribe as Rome.
No.
I mean, but honestly, you guys, for television, I thought this was
It's
beautiful.
genius.
I loved it. Oh my god! And then the way they had him like lounged back for his confessionals with his hat flipped up, I was like, this man,
Delusional.
he's giving me everything I need. But
Everything.
could I live with him on my tribe? No,
Absolutely
I
not.
don't know.
He literally is like eating extra fish in front of Aisha and then like spitting it and getting it on her.
Oh god! I was like, what? Don't spit it on her.
I'm like, oh
Sir,
my god.
No.
Yeah.
When I spoke to her today, she's like, I don't even eat the fish. She was like, why was I involved in that edit?
Oh my god. So Rome is like a character.
Yeah, we're getting our Rome edit, and
Yeah.
I say thank you to that. All right, back to Gotta Yellow. Sam
Never seen a vegetable in his life.
was like, wait, what?
What is an heirloom tomato? No, I've never even eaten squash.
No watermelon?
No.
Like, what's watermelon ever done to you?
Do not like broccolini. Don't come near me with a broccolini.
Don't know what it is.
The man must just be a protein machine.
Okay, but like, he's engaged to somebody who I'm sure has eaten food before.
He has not.
No.
It was shocking. To
It
never
was.
have even heard of an heirloom tomato, that's something.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like...
I don't like tomatoes, but I've heard of an heirloom tomato.
Yeah, but I think of heirloom tomatoes as like a big city thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think everyone's heard of an heirloom tomato.
I guess in the
By
middle of
way,
the country,
they're
it's
delicious.
like, it's just a tomato.
It's just a tomato. No, heirloom tomatoes, I will eat like an apple. They're so good.
That's disgusting.
Okay. But a watermelon. Everyone has tried watermelon.
Literally everyone except Sam.
He's like, I've seen them at barbecues. And I'm like,
Didn't try it.
it's just water.
It's literally
What?
water, like pink water.
Okay. Anyway, moving on from
Yeah.
Sam.
So he's over there not getting his
Yeah.
nutrients. He's a very malnourished human, seemingly.
Yeah.
But Andy's like, I want to work the middle, right? And it's actually interesting that Andy has found himself in the position and realizes it, that you've sort of got, granted, I think Sam kind of had a thing with all of the ladies at the beginning.
Yeah.
But Andy has divided them.
Yeah.
Sam and Sierra, Rachel and Annika.
Yes.
And I think that is a fair assessment of where the duos might fall.
It does
if
seem
you
like
had to
it. Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
So I am loving that Andy is inserting himself into the middle of this to the point where he's offering his shot in the dark to Sierra.
Okay. Now,
I'm
Andy
like,
is desperate. I get it. He really is trying to, like, dig himself back up out of this hole. And Sierra, I think it is accurate that he needs to go to Sierra because we had seen Sam sort of say to Sierra, like, what if we saved Andy? And she was like, what? She short-circuited a bit. So offering your shot in the dark is an extreme show of trust.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would recommend it, but he's doing it.
Unnecessary, but I guess maybe for someone in Andy's position, you do have to make a big swing at, like, a move to show trust.
I'll say it's unnecessary because they haven't even played for immunity.
True. But I also think sometimes, like, it might be smart to do it when you don't really need to, so that it doesn't feel like you're desperate.
Fair. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. We don't really get, like, the conclusion of this story in this particular episode.
No, we're not going to, because there is more deliciousness to see.
Because we're going to hop over to Tuku Blue.
First we go to Blue.
And Gabe is sort of assessing the state of the tribe now that TK is gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kyle is, like, maybe a little bit of an island, because he thought he was going to be with TK.
Yeah.
That's now not a thing. And Gabe is like, you might think that I might go after Kyle next, easy pickings.
Yeah.
But I actually think I can control Kyle.
Yeah.
And use him as a number, and I want Tiana to go next. So Gabe is fully in, I'm in the power seat on this tribe, and I'm deciding where we're going to go next.
Yeah, and that has been the edit now for, like, at least a couple episodes, right? Where it's like Gabe really seems to be getting the focus here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because he's long for this world or he's going to fizzle out.
I know. When you get a lot of attention this early in the season, sometimes it's because you go relatively early in the season.
It's hard to say at this time, but he is going to try to work on Kyle, and this is where I was like, wait, when he says Tiana's name, I was like, red flag, sir, too early. You haven't lost immunity yet. Like, don't be pitching people's names.
Right.
That's so dangerous.
It is.
And here we watch Kyle walks right off and is like, listen, sir, I'm going to throw all of that right back at other people.
I love this from Kyle, because I think there was some questions preseason about, like, what level of strategy are we going to get from Kyle this season? Like, yes, he seems lovely, likable, Midwestern, blue collar, etc., but, like, is he cutthroat? Is he making big moves? And for him to have this interaction with Gabe and not take it as like, oh my God, Gabe reached out, thank God I have a person, but rather, I'm going to flip this on you. He sits the ladies down to middling success, but I'm impressed by the effort, because Sue primarily is not having it. She's like, I need positive vibes going into this challenge. I don't want to talk game right now. And this is all rooted in her needing revenge on Kyle, which I really want to see her get over, because I actually would love to see Kyle and Sue come together and work together. But Sue's having a hard time.
I don't love, because I feel like this isn't the first time we've seen Sue be like, this isn't my jam.
Yeah.
We saw it with TK, but, like, TK's a lot. But Kyle's just literally, like, bringing you information, and for you to be like, this isn't the time I would like to receive information is not a successful way to play the game.
Yeah.
If it's just Kyle because you're mad at him, sure. But I don't think it's just Kyle. I think this is her mode of, like, these days I play the game and these days I rest.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to work.
I feel like a lot of her narrative is going to be I've been underestimated by men my whole life.
Sure.
And I won't do it again.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want her to break free of that a little bit, because I think that's a little short-sighted. Like, I think you can work with a man in this game.
You can.
And I think you can forgive a man for writing down your name and, like, come together. I just don't want her to be so black and white.
Right.
But I think, like, honestly, it maybe is, like, a little bit of a trigger for her of, like, oh, another man thinking that I'm weak and blah, blah, blah. She's probably dealt with that her whole life. But I'm like, think one step further than that and be like, maybe he wrote my name down, and then that means people wouldn't expect that we're working together, and maybe we can be clever about this. And this is all me wishful thinking, because I would love Kyle and Sue to come together.
Girl, I get you.
Yeah.
The patriarchy, I get you. But yeah, we don't want to, like, make decisions out of holding grudges and, like, past fears.
Yeah.
We do need to move on. And so, yeah, I hope that she's able to shake it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the fact that they don't go to tribal this week or this episode, like, maybe she does
she just needs
eventually.
A little time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Kyle hears her. He doesn't push it.
He does. He's like, I hear you. We won't talk about it right
Exactly.
now.
But then, of course, now he's like, okay, Gabe's like this, Sue's like this. Like, he's probably like, who am I working with?
Who's easier to work with? Yeah. So now some boats arrive.
Oh, a boat.
And obviously everybody knows, like, we're probably going on an adventure, on a journey. Who's going to go? And we get Kyle, Annika, and Rome are the three who get to go.
Yeah, the Blue's going to pull rocks or whatever. Annika's going to volunteer. We see red paper, rock, scissors. What is it called? Rock, paper, scissors?
You got it.
You get it.
Mm-hmm.
For red, which unfortunately is going to send Rome when nobody wants Rome to go.
Not even us.
No, because we know he has an idol.
Exactly.
He doesn't need to go on this.
You don't need to get something else.
And then Sam's going to be upset that Annika's going.
Of course.
Because he's not her biggest fan.
Yeah.
But yes, those three are going to hit off for this journey. And this journey is interesting. Before we get to the actual challenge, they just seem to, like,
chat.
Vomit information.
It is quite interesting. And, like, the strategies around the information that they're sharing are also interesting. I mean, everybody wants to know, well, Rome and Annika want to know who went home. Right? Because they get a little preview. Okay, Kyle. They're like, oh, thank goodness, Kyle, you didn't go. We like your vibe, blah, blah, blah. Who went? Oh, it was TK. Rome, for whatever reason, is elated that TK is the one who went home.
Thinks TK is too arrogant.
You've never even met the man.
I'm sorry. He's arrogant.
Yeah, but, like, Rome, you don't know him.
When an arrogant person says you're too arrogant...
I thought you were saying Rome is arrogant.
Yes.
I thought you were saying Rome knows that TK is arrogant. And
No,
I was
he
like,
doesn't
yeah, but
know.
Never met it. No, yeah, exactly.
I just thought that I just fell out of my chair.
It takes one to know one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then Kyle, interestingly, is the one who's asking about this Sam and Sierra couple situation.
Apparently, everyone.
It's the gossip on the island.
Both other tribes.
Because I remember it was in the preview for this episode last week. They, like, previewed Annika saying, like, are you guys a couple?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, a showmance.
Yes.
But they're both engaged.
They're both taken.
Yeah. And so, but that's the goss. So Kyle wants to know, and, you know, turns out they're not a couple. Then Rome.
That's really funny, though. Yeah.
Ranting
Rome's
against
like,
his tribe. No one talks strategy with me. Blah, 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 blah. And it's all part of him wanting Kyle and Annika to take back to their tribes that he's on the bottom and Saul and Asia are the ones who are calling the
he's
shots.
basically like, I gotta throw Saul and Asia under the bus. He wants it to look like they're running. Even though he thinks he's running things, that's the story he's going to tell.
Yep.
So all of that's blah, blah, blah. Then they are going to individually have to go to their little areas.
Pick a different path, yeah.
Pull out of a bag. All right, here's your choice. Well, you don't have a choice.
You have to pull one
I would
thing.
like to talk about why there's no choice. But you got to pull something from a bag. Then you're either going to get an advantage or lose your vote.
Yep.
If you lost your vote, you can try again to get an advantage. But the potential is you've now lost 2 votes.
Yeah. It's like double your penalty or get an advantage on that second draw.
Yeah.
Right? So the first draw is Kyle. And he gets lose your vote.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to risk it.
Nope.
I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Annika, same thing.
Yeah. She loses her vote.
And I'm going into this Rome thing being like,
oh no.
God.
Yeah. No, you can tell
Rome
from the
is going to
edit.
get an advantage.
Yeah. I was like, oh wow, he's a lucky little mofo.
He really is.
I would like to see his chart. I was like, dang, this is so lucky. He just right away pulls that advantage.
Right away pulls the steal a vote.
And it's a classic steal a vote. We know how that works. Okay, here, I enjoyed this sort of like pull from the bag. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You're automatically forcing these people to lose a vote.
Or win a steal advantage.
What happened to do you want to play? So here's the game. Pull in advantage or lose your vote. Do you want to risk it? I think that forcing a player to lose their vote is actually a bit too much and messes up a player's game when it's not necessary. Give them the choice. Mm-hmm. If they don't want to play,
so
fine.
Similar to the beware advantage.
Yeah.
Either take it or don't.
I feel like most of our journeys in the past have been like, do you want to do this? You can walk away if you don't. Haven't we seen people walk away, or am I misremembering? The fact that they didn't have the choice this time just kind of jolted me, and I was like, wait, what? So these poor Kyle, who I am rooting for and do not want to just like be screwed, and he's already a bit screwed, now lost his vote.
I guess I hadn't really thought about this, so I'm thinking about this in real time.
Yep.
But everybody knows now that these journeys could deliver an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So people want to go, generally.
Yes.
I think for the early one, people were like, no, I don't want to miss out on the like social connection time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But generally at this point now, when the journey happens, people are like, I want to go on that because I want a chance to win the idol or win the So I kind of like that this is now like, oh, you think you want to come on this? Well, sometimes it's going to force you into a disadvantage. Yeah. So beware. It kind of becomes its own beware. And you're right, it's not totally fair to these people. But in the future now, people are really going to question whether they want to go on this journey if this setup continues, because there may be a situation where you're forced into a disadvantage.
Well, look, Annika volunteered. She wanted to go. She lost her vote. Okay, that's her choice.
Yeah.
But Kyle pulled a rock, and Rome got rock, paper, scissors. So, like, they didn't choose to go.
You're right.
I mean, if everyone in your tribe is like, I'm not risking losing my vote. Like, I don't want to go on the journey. Yeah. You're going to have to do something. So someone goes. I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation.
It is.
You're playing Survivor, so you've already made the choice.
But you're right. It's like it's not necessarily completely fair. I mean, life's not fair.
Right.
But yeah.
A reality TV show, definitely not fair.
But I definitely was like, here we go. Rome gets another advantage. Okay.
So great. We're going to go back. Obviously, these people have to tell their whole tribes a story.
And of course, no matter what Annika says, Sam's not going to believe her.
No! And we're going to get a cut back between Annika and Kyle, because they basically can be honest, right?
Yeah.
They can say, this is exactly how it goes, and I done lost my vote, you know?
And Kyle's like, by the way, Sam and Sierra are not a couple. He's like, that's the most important thing I took away from this.
Literally.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Sam and Sierra.
I know.
Like, that's not good for their
game. They're like attractive people who look like they might make a good couple.
And they're both like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sam's like, to my fiance who's watching, I promise I'm faithful.
Like, this is just a game. Like, I mean, from the edit, it doesn't seem like they're in a relationship. They're just talking. They're not like cuddling.
But I did like Annika's slight alteration of the truth here, where she said,
yes,
I had a choice to save my vote. Basically what you're saying. Where's the choice? She's saying I did have a choice, so I didn't even play.
Right.
And I saved my vote.
Because that's her public story. She doesn't want everyone to know.
But then she tells Rachel and Sierra the truth.
So yes, which I think is the smart thing to do. Tell your alliance the truth, but the people you don't want to know don't need to know you've lost your vote.
I might have told one person rather than two.
Well, what if you have two alliance members? You want one to
get
know
it,
and not
but
the
I'm
other?
like, when you tell one person and it gets out, you know who told.
Yes, true.
But now the information is kind of just fair game.
Yeah.
With two people knowing. Now, Rome.
Oh, Rome. He gets his own edit.
Rome might be the worst liar of the season. And he tells them that he lost his vote.
Oh, yeah.
And I, as a viewer, granted,
we're
biased.
You know the information.
We're biased because, we're seeing an edit and we're not experiencing this in real time. But the footage that I'm watching as a viewer, I'm like, your body language is all wrong to pull this off.
It is. I don't think he's a great actor.
No.
I think that he puts on performances, but that are not necessarily believable. And when he's like, this is my story, and then Saul is like, well, do you have the note?
Nope.
He's like, no. So, and then blah, blah,
I
blah.
left it.
He in no way thinks that, like, no, you just ruined it for yourself, sir. Like, that's not a good lie.
And he will continue to absolutely blow this performance throughout the episode. It is, I have so many thoughts along the way.
I can't wait.
He pulls Teeny aside and he tells her the truth.
Yeah.
And I think she's probably like, you don't say.
You don't say. You don't say.
But she's basically now like, Rome is a liability, but I cannot play. I actually love her wisdom in this moment.
I know, honestly.
To be like, I cannot play against this.
Yes.
Why am I trying to fight someone who has an idol and a steel of it?
Now he's like...
And he wants to work with me.
Double-armed, and he's giving me the information. Like, I feel her. She's bit trapped, but it's accurate.
She's like, I would much rather work with Saul in Asia. But this crazy has way too much power, and he wants to bring me along, so like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go and I'll figure it out later.
Yes, I agree. As much as we maybe don't want that to be the situation, that is the game that Teeny needs to play.
Yeah.
But like when Rome like told Teeny, I was like, wow, okay, he really is into Teeny, right? Because Teeny did kind of, he got caught.
Right.
Rome caught Teeny. So I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
He still goes back to Teeny, gives all the information, but then tells Genevieve and Kishan, and I was like, oh, Rome just isn't telling everybody.
He's picked his 4, basically.
He's just telling everybody.
He's like, these are the 4. Asia and Saul are on the outs. Those are the targets. So that leads us into immunity. Plus reward. The reward is tarps and hammocks for the first place finisher.
Okay.
So sort of like a comfort reward.
Genevieve has to sit out, and she's going to do a good job of checking that bench.
Oh, she's all over the bottom of that bench. And I'm like, thank you for learning lessons.
By the way, welcome to the show, Genevieve.
Yes, I know.
So good to see you.
So nice to see you participating. Kishan, we do see, he's like, I don't know how to swim. And Jeff's like, why wouldn't you sit out? And he's like, well, you know, it's about believing in yourself. And Jeff's like, that's why you apply to be on Survivor.
Oh my God, Jeff! I think I was watching and taking notes because when I was like, is he looking at camera? I did a little like...
Literally commercial mid-episode. Apply to be on Survivor.
God, that man doesn't miss a beat. But I, meanwhile, was like, Keyshawn, it's actually not about belief. Maybe, is Genevieve better? Do you want to not sit out?
Know your strengths and weaknesses.
Maybe not this one.
I think it's about self-awareness. Of what you're capable of doing. It's really not about trying to do something you can't.
Okay.
But who else is wanting to do something they can't? Rome. So I love that we get...
You can't say can't because he did it.
He did.
He did it.
But ultimately they lost. So I'm going to argue that maybe he's part of the reason.
Great.
So we get some of the strategy, which actually, this is one of the benefits. I'm not a huge fan of the 90-minute format. I think I've talked about this before. Yeah. I love a tight hour. Mm-hmm. But one of the benefits of this longer format is that we get moments like this. Normally, we don't get to see any of the strategy.
We got
how they decide.
Strategy talk.
Yeah. So we get moments from each of these teams as they're deciding who's going to do what. First of all, Andy's like, well, I think I would be good at all of the legs of this.
And you're like, really?
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to set that over here.
Bold.
Because Rome is like, I need to go first. And Saul's like, Rome, please let me go first. And Rome's like, I'm going to be mad if we lose because I know I can do the first very well.
I can't believe arguing to the point that you say, I'm going to be mad. What? Who can work with this?
You're shouldering a lot of responsibility for the outcome of this challenge.
Yes, but that's just not a team player. Yes, you can do it. Fine, you can do it.
Yeah.
But like really arguing to that point that you're like, I'm going to be mad. Okay, great. No one can work with you then.
Yeah.
How is this?
And Saul eventually is like, okay.
Yeah, like Saul has no choice with that sort of argument. Like, what are they going to spend the whole rest of the episode? Jeff's going to be like, figure it out. We got to go. Up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Saul has to give up, which of course I'm like, is that the reason we got this in the edit? Is Rome about to like eat it? But he doesn't. He does all right.
He doesn't, but they do lose.
They did not win. That is for sure.
They each have to go through this thing where you climb the net, you jump. You climb the crate, you jump. You get the buoy, you go on the balance beam, and then it's the puzzle.
It's a lot.
So the only thing that Rome is really signing up for is to like be doing it solo.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it makes a difference whether you're alone or whether you're with a partner, but whatever.
It was a little bit different though. Like, did he have to do everything the
guess
same?
the first one, you had to dive down to get the buoy, and the other ones, you're getting the buoy from the balance beam.
Right.
So I guess Rome was like, I'm good underwater.
I can dive.
Whatever.
Okay, great.
So you're right. Rome does hold his own on the first
fine.
round.
He's not first, but he's not last.
It's really Andy who falls behind for Got to Yellow.
Yep.
Because he's falling on the balance beam, and
Yeah.
finally they're like, Andy, crawl.
Anyone who goes on Survivor.
Yeah.
Just crawl.
Crawl. So he crawls, and then ultimately he's fine.
Yes.
Now Tuku Blue has the lead, right?
Yeah.
And Kishan and Asia on the red team, Lavo Red, are now letting Gata Yellow catch up. So it's really Tuku Blue who's in the lead, and Red and Yellow are neck and neck at this point.
Or they kind of keep, like, one falls behind, the other falls behind. Yeah.
Right. But then in this final leg,
Yes.
Lavo Red is in last place. Teeny keeps falling on that balance beam.
Yeah. Red does not look good. Like, it seemed like... And I guess because you each have to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Period. So, not everyone can. And Red really just has a really bad loss here.
And Tuku Blue has gotten to the puzzle first. But when you put Rachel and Annika on a puzzle for Gata Yellow, you better watch out.
Oh, hello. Blue was ahead the whole time. I'm like about to type Blue has won. But no, Yellow, like, they take that puzzle and they went with it. And it was a pretty complex
And remember,
puzzle.
they won the, like, sort of jigsaw-y thing where you had to put the lid on for the very first challenge.
Oh, yeah?
Gata Yellow was in last place getting to that, and it was Rachel and Annika who put that sort of Tetris-y thing together and put that lid on and won the supplies in the first challenge.
Okay.
And now here they are back on the Seahorse puzzle,
They are
absolutely
good.
killing it. So those two ladies are really good on puzzles, and they will become a threat eventually because of that. People have to be noticing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Blue is going to be able to pull it out here as well because Red is just...
Well, and because
an
Jeff basically is like
disaster.
calling it early, and he's like, okay, so Lavo Red is going to tribal.
Yeah.
We're not even done, and I'm calling it.
Yeah, basically. It was that bad. Now, going into this, I knew Red was going to lose because the edit was so Rome heavy. I was going to be shocked if Red wasn't going to tribal.
Yeah.
But it was really sad to see them lose so badly.
Yep.
Like, that was just a tough one.
And what I love, this soundbite we get before we go back to camp from Saul, where he's like, Rome told us he has no vote, but I don't believe him. Like, his body language is all over the place.
Nobody's
Like,
buying it, sir.
I do not believe this story. And I'm like, love that. There's really nothing you can do because the man also has an idol.
Yep.
But I love the acknowledgement. So we're going to go back to camp.
Yeah, we're going to go obviously more focus on Red here because they're going to go to tribal. And I'm thinking this whole time, like, this whole edit is like, Rome is a lot. Nobody likes him, but he's got all the hardware in the world right now, and he's in a really powerful place.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are they setting Rome up for this great fall? Or is Asia and Salt really in danger? Because...
I was hoping the former.
Yeah.
I was like, Rome is going to be so supremely overconfident that he has an idol and a steal a vote.
Yep.
That he's going to be lulled into this false sense of security because everyone's going to be sort of like bowing down to him, like, oh yes, whatever you say. And then maybe they're all going to be like, the man feels secure, let's get him. Let's send him home with 2 advantages.
Yes.
That's not what ends up happening.
No, because he does play this smart in the fact that he was like telling everyone, I'm gonna play my idol.
Yeah.
And now his is only good for this first tribal, so why not play it?
Why wouldn't you? Exactly.
Yeah. So he's planning on playing it. We see him say for himself, they later allude to it could have been Genevieve, but like, I think that's pretty smart to be like, I have the idol, I'm gonna play it no matter what. They all have to scramble for a different plan.
Yeah. I mean, the focus is on Teeny initially, where she's like, we're drawing lines that I really don't want to draw. But ultimately, like, if I have to target Asia or Saul, I'd rather keep Asia, personally, as Tina's telling us. Teeny. So she's sort of like doing her part in this grand scheme to make Asia feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But also, she's saying to us, like, I'm trying to give her little warnings.
Yeah.
That this really might not go the way she wants it to.
Yeah, I mean, I think Teeny's definitely in a hard place. Teeny was in such a good middle spot, and to have to be in this moment of like, I have to sort of choose a side.
With Rome.
And obviously, a fan of Asia wants to work with Asia, tries to save Asia a little bit, and tries to hint to Asia, but it just doesn't seem
because she's like hinting so that she has like some sort of case to make to be like, I tried and I still want to work with you.
Yeah.
And let's get Rome out now because Rome got rid of his idol. You know, I think she's like thinking ahead to like, how do I get rid of Rome?
If that's possible, yeah.
Rome, though, is like, I want Aisha out, but I also need Saul to flush his shot in the dark. I mean, this man is like on such a power trip right now where he's like, I'm going to get Aisha out because I don't like her, and I'm going to flush Saul's shot in the dark. All in one.
Right. And Teeny does do a good job of convincing.
She's like, we should just do Saul.
Let's just do Saul. And
she's like, once you play your idol, the idol's back in the forest.
Yeah.
And guess who's going to be out here? Saul.
Saul's going to find it.
And he's like, yeah, you're right. So then Rome is convinced now to do Saul.
Yeah.
He goes to Saul one-on-one. And as someone who allegedly doesn't have a vote, you're really involved in the strategy talk. I think if you didn't have a vote, you'd be like, tell me what to do, and I will do it. But Rome is just, he's got some swagger, and he's like, Saul, my man, I'm 99% sure that's Asia. You should draw an outline of the country of Asia. And I'm like, consider who you're saying this to right now.
Oh my God.
There's just a lot going on in this conversation, and Saul is like...
Saul is hilarious.
What if you're lying to me?
Yeah.
Straight up calls him out.
Well, I'm like, why? What would be? I'm just like, well, that's. I mean, okay, yeah, I guess I see what. Yeah, but no,
it's incredible because Rome gives us a confessional where he's like, "I am such a good liar.
I'm so good at this."
And Saul is like, "You're a horrible liar."
I mean, it was obvious. Like looking at Saul. He did not buy a thing that Rome was saying, whether it was true or not, right?
Not one.
Saul is not buying it. And then for Rome to be like, I walked away from that feeling really good. What? Did you read anything off of his face?
Again.
Or the words coming out of his mouth?
Great television.
Yes.
But horrible gameplay.
Amazing television. Again, propped up hat. And he's like, I am killing it at this game.
No one can touch me.
I
and
love
Saul's
it.
like, I see exactly what you're doing, actually. It's so good.
It is. It's really good. We're basically going to walk away from the talks and head into tribal with Asia knowing.
Because, Keyshawn and Teeny try to tell her.
Yes.
Look, Rome has an idol. They're trying to get her to vote Saul. And this really, I think, is Asia's downfall, where she kind of tries to dig her heels in and be like, I don't want to get rid of Saul. I can work with him. And I'm like, but you could get rid of Saul and you could work with other people to get rid of Rome or Genevieve later on. Like,
it's tough because when you know that there's a duo, Rome and Genevieve, and you can't get one of them out, go for the other one. And if you think that you can maybe get these two, I get it. Try to go for it.
She's too attached to Saul, though, because
yeah.
I get it. Rome and Genevieve are a duo, but Keyshawn and Teeny are also a duo, and they are extending an olive branch to you. Accept that. Be a part of their trio. Get Rome or Genevieve out in the next tribal. Like, you don't have to do it this tribal.
If it saves your butt, right? Like, anyone but me.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. I'm like, why is this not your game?
So, like, I know you want to try to make a move, but there has to be a point where you go, I have to save my butt.
Yeah.
But after talking to Asia this morning, Keyshawn and Teeny were not like, it's this way or no. They were like, okay, we'll vote with you. So Asia didn't have all that information.
They didn't really give her a lot of opportunity. Well, we go to Tribal, and Rome is like kind of superstitious, right? He's like, I don't want to sit in the middle. I don't want to sit in the front. Like all these things.
I'm like, you mean you do?
Yeah.
Of course he
You
wanted
want to be the
sit
center
in
of attention.
And of course he wanted to be first.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
Yeah, right. That was it. I don't want to get asked the first question.
Oh my God, he asked me first. No.
No, Jeff. Oh my God.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Saul is kind of expressing uneasiness.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a lot of these like early tribal jitters where people are like, the whole vote can shift if someone is acting too paranoid, which Asia's doing. And then Keyshawn outs the existence of a core 4.
He said core 4. I was like, whoa. Sir,
and Jeff, the professional that he is like, sorry, who's the core 4?
Yeah, who?
And Keyshawn's like, woo! I can't believe I said that. I'm not going to say.
I'm surprised we didn't get people being like, well, I know I'm not in a core 4.
Right.
That
I don't know what the core
me.
4 is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was bold to say the core 4. And then we're going to hear Asia say something about the person that agreed to vote with me.
I got one more thing.
Oh.
Jeff is basically like, let's go to vote. And Asia's like, one more thing.
One more thing. That person.
Which person?
We'll not call them out.
Is it Saul? Is it Teeny?
She did explain it.
She said, like, I hope the person who agreed to vote with me sticks to that because and I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
I think that what she was, if I remember correctly, she was trying to get Rome to play the idol on himself so that her plan, because she actually thinks that if it goes the way she thinks, they're splitting votes and can get Genevieve or Rome out.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But obviously, Keyshawn and Teeny are not being honest with her.
No.
And so that's not the way the vote's going to go.
But Teeny's also not really being honest with anybody, so...
She's being honest with us. She doesn't vote for Asia.
Did she say she wasn't going to vote for Asia?
Well, she said she wanted to work with Asia.
Okay, fine. Teeny, the only thing we see in the vote is that Teeny takes a long time. They, like, linger on her about to write her vote out.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I think, given how she votes, because I was a little like, what? Then Rome plays his idol on himself, of course. And then in the tally, there's one vote for Rome, does not count. And then there's a vote for Genevieve. And then there's a vote for Saul. And then there's a vote for Asia. And I'm like, whoa, where are we going with this?
That is amazing. 4 people have votes.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Crazy. But then it's 2 more for Asia, and she is the first voted out from Lavo Red.
That's a real bummer. I know a lot of people are upset. And I think a lot of people are upset with Teeny, and they should not be, because Teeny has got to play Teeny's game.
Yeah.
They did not vote for Asia. They stuck by and said, I'd rather vote Saul out than Asia, and they voted Saul.
Teeny
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do not go. I think I'm just worried about Teeny online and the internet.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Teeny a lot. I'm not mad at her for voting Saul. I'm just a little confused.
Well, she
What does it help you?
Asia.
What does that help you though? Asia's gone. Who are you saving face with? Now you have a vote for Saul to explain.
What if something goes wrong? What if something happens? What if Asia hasn't? I don't know.
Sure. I'm like, was it a hinky vote on purpose, or is she just trying to? I don't know. It was a little weird to me. It feels a little
just
early
so she can say
like,
to the whole
world apparently,
community,
because like Asia's not even going to the jury. She's not even going to the jury.
Yes, but the rap community doesn't have to get mad at her because she didn't vote for it. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I don't care. I'm not having an entire Nerdtainment community come for me.
I hate that. I know that's a reality, but I hate that that's a reality, that people would let fan reaction dictate their behavior in a game like this.
I think more people should let fan reaction dictate their behavior.
I think you have to like make the best move. We're not there.
Right. I mean,
we're watching an edited show. I gotta let people have the freedom to make the decisions that they think are
100%.
best, living the experience.
100%. But often they are wrong. And they need to listen to the fans.
Based on the edit that we are seeing.
Sometimes, like when people are like, I'm not going to work with Sandra. And you're like, how dare you? Work with Sandra. Or Parvati. Are you telling me? Go against those people? Give me a beret. No, yes, you need the right to play your own game, and I think Teeny did play their own game here, but don't get the fans pissed off at you.
I guess.
This is my question about Rome, because the fandom is going to hate Rome. Rome single-handedly took out one of the most popular fan favorites in a while.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that Rome knew who Asia was and was jelly and wanted her out? Or do you think he just happened to randomly not click with... Why is there
a bug
moth in here? Or do you think... Because he just from like moment zero was like, I don't like Asia. I don't want to work with Asia. Is it just random? And he just happened to go for the person who has like a huge fan base?
I feel like, why wouldn't they tell us if he knew who she was? Because they told us that Teeny did.
But like, he might not be saying it. Like, that just internally he recognized her and was like, oh, I got to get her out.
Could be.
Couldn't have her be more popular than me.
Could be. I just feel like he...
Or did he just accidentally take out and like become a villain? Like, I think he's going to get a villain arc because of this.
And I think also separately from this, just based on who he is.
I say villain with like humor. Like, he's not a villain.
No, I don't think he's like mean-spirited. No. I don't think he's rude.
No.
I think he's annoying. I think he's a lot.
I think he's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think he's super entertaining.
I don't know.
I'm appreciative of him as a character.
Yeah.
I just thought, like,
I don't want him to go anywhere. I want him to keep driving me absolutely nuts as a viewer, because it makes it entertaining to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never going to win the game. I can tell you that right now, that no one will vote for him.
Right now. I can tell you right now, he might not even make it till merge.
Exactly.
Based on the edit that he's getting.
He's such a big character.
People who are highlighted this much this early are highlighted this much this early for a reason, because there's nothing to highlight later because they're gone. So...
Well, he's got a lot to cover, but he's such a big personality that come merge.
Yeah.
If he makes it to merge, people will be like, oh, no.
The people who are working with him are reluctantly working with him.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, I have no choice. He has too much power.
The people who have maybe other numbers are going to be like, no, we'll just take him out.
Yeah, right.
No, thank you. We'll just take him out. Like, it's just more entertaining for us to watch, obviously. But yes, very sad for Asia.
Yeah.
She couldn't get traction. It just wasn't gonna work. She did mention to me today, like, the tribe was just 3 duos, period. You knew one of those duos could go either way. There wasn't really any working with Genevieve and Rome. It wasn't possible. So, but it was lovely to speak with her. I've met her one time, but it was fun to chat with her.
Yeah, bummer to see her go out so early. But next time, Saul cannot get a moment alone. He's like, can I have a second? And Rome's like, no, this is Survivor. I don't have to give you a second.
Rome.
And allegedly, there's blood everywhere when they found Sue.
That did not look like blood.
Here's what I saw in my head. I said, Sue found a warthog and she ripped it limb from limb herself. Because that's the kind of woman Sue is. She's going to provide for her tribe. She doesn't need a man to find food. Like, that's what I'm picturing in my head. Very Lord of the Flies.
That was paint. If that is blood, I will be shocked. It was like a pinkish
It was.
tone.
Even I, as a colorblind person with specifically a red deficiency, I was like, that is not blood.
It was not red.
No.
Oh my god, that's so funny that someone's like, oh my god, Sue's got it, there's blood everywhere. I was like, really? That's blood? I don't think so. But she would obviously be able to rip a warthog
100%.
limb to limb
100%.
and feed the tribe
Yeah.
if she needed to.
Yeah.
She just does not need to do that. Of course. If you haven't watched my interview with Asia, please go do so right now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Sorry we missed you last week, but we are back.
We are back.
Everyone in the chat, you're amazing. We appreciate you.
Yes, and if you're joining us later, please leave us a comment. It helps the channel if you do, and let us know what you think about Rome generally, Asia's elimination, and Sue. What do you think happens with Sue next week?
Is she dead?
Is she dead?
Is that her blood? Please let us know. Absolutely. All right. Thank you guys. We will see you next week.
Yes, we'll see. Well, do you want to do the notify them of the schedule change next week or
Well,
not?
now that you pointed it out, yes, David, I do.
So we're going to do Sunday instead of Thursday because I'm out of town on Thursday.
Yeah, so next week will be different, but we will be here just a little late. It'll be a Sunday follow-up of the episode.
Yes. So bear with us on that one, but we will see you guys very soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.